Hi everyone, so we are in the middle of summer where I'm at and it does get pretty warm. So I wanted to give you a few tips on how to keep your rats cool during the summertime. Unlike other small animals, rats can pretty much tolerate extreme cold or extreme heat. However, the ideal temperature range is 65 to 80 degrees Fahrenheit, and that's about 18 to 26 degrees Celsius. So you're definitely going to want to house your rats in a temperature regulated room. So it's definitely not suggested that you house them outside unless you live in like a pretty mild climate. If you've been watching my videos for a while, then you know that I house my rats in the sunroom of my house, which is temperature regulated. The room is usually around 72 degrees Fahrenheit, which is around 22 degrees Celsius. However, during midday, when the sun is really shining into the house, sometimes it can get a little warmer than that, and I like to do a few things with the rats to keep them cool. They're also kind of like a little bit of a boredom breaker. So this video just has a few tips on how to cool them down for a little bit. It's definitely not really used for long term. They should definitely be in a temperature regulated room. These are just kind of some fun things that you can do with them during the summertime. And the first thing is fishing for peas, or here I just had like a packet of mixed frozen vegetables that I put in a glass dish with some water, and it makes it really cool as the vegetables are melting. So the rats kind of have to get in the water to scoop out the vegetable that they want to eat. This is a really popular activity that rat owners like to do with their rats. It's really fun to watch them, and some of the rats really seem to enjoy it. However, don't get discouraged if some of your rats don't like it. Uno has never really liked fishing for peas. I don't know if it's just because he's lazy or if he doesn't like getting wet, but he just has never really liked it. With the other girls that I have in the cage during this clip, this was the first time that I had done it with them. It was like the first very warm day of the year, and I just wanted to see what they were going to do. Zara definitely caught on quicker than anybody else did, and the others slowly began to go ahead and dip in after a while. You don't necessarily have to do this in the cage. It's just easier for me to film everybody when they're in the cage. You can also put it out during your free range time. I had done that before with my last group of rats, and it was kind of fun seeing them running around the room and then dipping into the cold water to get some treats. This is something that you can also leave in the cage for a few hours during a hot day so they can come and go as they please until all the treats are gone. Even if it's not super hot outside, it's still a fun thing to do with your rats and to kind of watch them play and interact with one another and the water. Another thing I like to do is kind of along the same lines as fishing for peas, except for without the water, and it is to cut up some fruit and either put it in the freezer or in the refrigerator. Here I have some mangoes cut up into little slivers that I had in the refrigerator. And I just like to give this to the rats, usually during midday when it's the warmest, as kind of like a little treat, like a little popsicle for them to enjoy. It doesn't have to be mango, it can be banana or cherries or even watermelon. All rats like watermelon, and one of the main things you want to keep in mind during the summertime is that your rats are staying hydrated. So giving them fruit or even having them fish for peas is usually a pretty good way to kind of keep them hydrated. They're getting some fluid while they're eating the fresh fruit and vegetables. And even though it might be a little cold at first, I have never had mine not want it. They always seem to enjoy getting a little popsicle during the summertime. The next tip will probably help out, especially if your air conditioning unit has gone out completely, or if you do not have AC and you live in a mild climate and just happen to have a really hot day. I use this also for the chinchillas, but you basically just take a cooler pack that you put in your lunchbox or cooler to keep food and drinks cold. And I like to just wrap it in some fleece to prevent them from chewing on the plastic. You can actually buy ice coolers that have fleece covers for them, but I find that it's not really that hard to just go ahead and wrap the cooler in the fleece, especially if you have some extra small pieces of fleece just laying around. And then I just go ahead and place the wrapped ice pack into the cage. The idea is that they can go ahead and lay on top or even like pancake out on top of the ice pack if they really get that hot. And you can also have a fan on with this in their cage. Sometimes it'll act as a mini kind of air conditioning inside of their cage on a super hot day, or like I said, if you have an emergency where the cage needs to be cooler. I don't know if I would suggest leaving this in their cage overnight if you're not going to be supervising them, as a lot of rats will be most active at dawn and during the evening time and at night, so you kind of don't want them tearing up the fleece to get to the cooler inside and end up chewing on the plastic and whatever they have inside of the ice pack. But during the day when it's really hot and everybody's sleepy, I think it's a good idea to just kind of lay it in the cage, and I haven't had any problems with the rats messing with it. As you can see here, Sky was pretty curious, but she ended up kind of leaving it alone after a while. Another thing that you may want to invest in if you don't already have one are glass water bottles. I've noticed that the glass water bottles keep water cooler a lot longer than the plastic ones, and they are also chew-proof. As I mentioned before, it's really important to keep your rats hydrated when it's hot outside. So making sure they have access to cool water at all times when it's warm is essential. They are a little bit more expensive than the plastic water bottles, but I think they're worth it if they're going to promote your animal to drink when it's hot outside. So I hope you guys liked this video and found it helpful. If you have any questions, go ahead and comment below, and I will see you in my next video. Thanks for watching.